Hi lovelies, I'm Ariel and this is Maven Unmasked and welcome to my how do you make an altar and what do you put on it video. I've had a few of you ask some questions about altars. How do you make one? What goes on it? Where do you put things? All of that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to talk about today, you guys. I do have a video up. I'll leave a link in the description box below. That's my altar tour, so you can take a look at some of my previous altar spaces, just so you can kind of get an idea as to what an altar can look like. Okay, so an altar is really and truly, first and foremost, a sacred space. It's a place for you to come and connect with spirit, to connect with yourself, to meditate, to focus, to reflect, to connect with spirit, connect with the universe. You can cry at your altar, you can fall to your knees, you can yell, you can scream, you can sing, you can dance, you can chant. There's so many things that you can do at your altar space, and we'll cover that in the next video that I'm going to make today. But it's a place to connect with your ascended masters, deity, connect with your spirituality, embrace yourself, self-love, your inner child, all of those kinds of things. So there are different kinds of altars that you can have. They may be cultural, if you come from a particular cultural or religious background or tradition. There may be an altar specific setup for that tradition. Now, if you are following a particular tradition or religion or anything like that, I would suggest organizing your altar, setting it up in the way that the practice that you're engaging in traditionally would, just so you can honor and respect that practice. Again, you don't have to, but I just think that that's nice to do, especially if you're looking to be initiated into a certain tradition or you're working with a certain pantheon or tradition. So you can also have elemental altars. So an altar to the element of water, to the element of air, to the element of fire, to the element of earth, earthly elements, okay? You can have one to deity if there's a specific deity or ascended master, god, goddess, angel that you want to work with. You know, you can have an altar dedicated just to them, and then you would have things that would represent that energy or things that that deity likes on that particular altar. You can have a seasonal altar if you follow the wheel of the year. You can change it, Samhain, Yule, Imbolc, all of those things, you know, and change it up seasonally. Even if you want to just do spring, summer, winter, fall, you can do that as well and put elements from those season, natural elements from those season in your altar. You can make a personal altar that's unique to you, which is what I have behind me. You see it in every video I make. I don't change this one like I change my other ones, because this one to me, it's all of the things that I love. It's unique to me. It's special to me. My favorite crystals, energy that I want to represent, animals that are important to me. I love Pusheen. So Pusheen is up here on my altar. You know, I've got my little friend Pip here, who's so cute and makes me happy. Things that make you happy, things that bring you joy, things that invoke good, positive energy and positive feelings in you and in your spirit and in that space are things that you would want to put on your altar, whether they're a personal or a unique altar, or an altar for another purpose. You can also have a manifesting or a working altar. So what I mean by that is that would be an altar space that is specific to whatever it is you're trying to manifest or whatever spell you're trying to work. So let's say you're trying to bring in more money, bring in more income. You may want to decorate that altar in shades of green and gold, and you may want to have, you know, maybe Lakshmi up there, or I don't know. I'm like, what's another abundance deity? I can't even think right now. My brain is like on overload. But anything that, you know, gold coins, you could put money up there, offerings, money, incense, there's incenses for money, all those kinds of things. So if that's what you're trying to manifest, maybe it's manifesting a new job, bringing, you know, that energy to your working altar. Maybe it's healing. You can also have a healing altar. I have a healing altar. You can't really see it, but it's on this black table over here. That's my healing grid. So you can have an altar specifically for healing. You can have an altar specifically to honor honor your ancestors as well. So there's so many different kinds of altars that you can have. Have fun with it, be creative, but again, be respectful to traditions or religions if you are engaging in those practices. Okay, you can also, in terms of altar setup, you can feng shui your altar. I'm not big on feng shui, but I know like if there's, I think if you're manifesting money, it has to be like in the furthest east corner of your home. I don't quote me on that. I'm not big on feng shui, but you can feng shui your altar. You can work with the cardinal directions in terms of your altar, north, south, east, and west. I know in shamanism, like the north has certain aspects and meanings and animals and things associated with it, as does east, as does south, as does west. So if you're work with a particular cardinal direction or want to invoke the energy of that cardinal direction, you can set up an altar to that direction as well, or even put elements of each direction in the four corners of your altar if you feel called to do that. Okay, so you can color coordinate your altar. Sorry, I keep looking down. I just have some notes to make sure I want to cover everything that I wanted to talk about today. But you can color coordinate your altar. So remember, I was talking about if you're manifesting or doing spell work around money, greens, golds, anything that feels luxurious to you. If you're coordinating with the season, maybe in the fall, oranges and reds and yellows, for the changing of the leaves, Christmas, red and greens, Yule, red and greens. Valentine's Day, red. In the summer, maybe working with a nice cool blue. Thank you. Spirit is also like, talk about the chakras, talk about the chakras. So you can also have altars if you're trying to work on a particular chakra. So let's say you have issues with your throat chakra. You can have an altar dedicated to working on your throat chakra. It can have all of, blue things, blue stones, blue crystals, blue cloth, blue candles. And when you come to that space, when you look at it, when you see it, your throat chakra is going to instantly be stimulated when you spend time there. As with any other chakra, your root, your sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown. Okay, so thank you for that, Spirit. That's a fabulous idea. Alrighty. You can put offerings on your altar as well. So again, if you are making your altar to a particular deity or to your ancestors, you want to feed them, you want to offer them gifts and love and food and all of those things. So you can pour libations, you can offer money, honey, milk, almonds, cornmeal, rum, holy water, Ganesha loves candy. You can put candy on your altar if you're looking to remove blocks or working with Ganesh in particular. So if you are making offerings to a deity though, or to your ancestors, I would highly suggest that you do a little bit of research first, because you don't want to offend the deity by giving them something that they don't like or something that they hate, or that just, if part of their story, let's say they bit a poisoned apple, you don't want to put an apple on your altar to them. That would be disrespectful. So do your research. If you're making an ancestral altar, what did your ancestor love in life? If they love cigars, you could put a cigar on the altar. If they loved rum, you could put rum on the altar. If they love cigarettes, if they loved poker, playing poker, put a deck of cards, playing cards on the ancestral altar for them. So do a little bit of research, connect with your guides and your ancestors and your deity, and see what they would like at their altar. Okay. So any item that you put on your altar, you want it to be energetically supportive to the altar, to its purpose, and to the space. Okay, so before you put anything on your altar, you want to make sure you smudge it, you cleanse it, you clear it, you use some Florida water on it, clear, you can use a night table, you can use a TV stand, you can use a TV tray, the top of a dresser, you can use anything, a bookcase, anything to make an altar space. I have had people ask me, thank you, Spirit, they're like, just drop it in. Be mindful of where you set up your altar space. If you don't want people to see it, if you don't want people to ask questions about it, if you don't want people to touch it, then put it somewhere where they're probably not going to see it. Of course, be careful if you have candles or something like that on your altar. You don't want to put it in a place where things could catch fire or get disturbed, knocked over. Be mindful also if you have babies, small children, animals, fur babies, with some of the things you may have on on your altar, herbs and things like that, so they don't ingest it, things that they shouldn't have. But again, you want to prepare the space. You want to clean the space. You know, if you know you have somebody coming over that wouldn't necessarily really jive with your thing, cover your altar or move your altar. Not saying that you should be ashamed of what you do, but if you just don't feel like dealing with the hassle and answering the questions, there are always options. Now, if you don't care about somebody seeing your altar space, then by all means. But I do think that there's a certain reverence in keeping your altar private. I have altars kind of set up all around my home, but altars that are more specific or private or to my workings, I don't really have in a public place. I don't show, I don't talk about, to keep it sacred. There's sacred in the secret, if that makes sense to you. So use your discretion. It's the same thing when people ask me, how do you feel about people touching your crystals or your tarot cards or whatever? For me, it really just depends on who you are and how I feel about your energy, whether I'll let you touch it or not, or see it or not. But again, use your best judgment. If you live in a house with it's a ton of people going in and out, you may not want to put it in a high traffic area, especially if you're coming to your altar to meditate, to do work. You want it to be peaceful. You want to feel comfortable. You don't want it to be in a high traffic area of your home where the kids and the dog and your husband or whoever, your wife, are all running back and forth past you while you're trying to spend time at your altar. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're creating it. Now, some items you can put on your altar. You can put crystals, as you see my array of crystals back here. If you were doing an altar for love or to invite more love into your life, you'd want to use rhodonite, rose quartz, malachite, any heart chakra stones, crystals, herbs, oils like bergamot, things like that. You can use shells if you're doing an altar to, let's say, Yamaya, or to the ocean, or if it's seasonal for the summer or you live by the ocean, you want to bring that energy into your space. You can also, thank you, Spirit, have a glass of water or bowl of water on your altar to keep the energy flowing and clear, okay? It also helps to kind of, I don't want to say absorb negative energy, but it kind of creates a shield, if that makes sense. Okay. But nature elements, sticks, stones, bones, feathers, all kinds of things. You can use fresh flowers at your altar. You can put herbs at your altar. I've got some bay leaf. I've got some dandelion root. I've got some peppermint leaf. You can also have a cauldron at your altar if you work with one. Okay. They're great fun. I love my little cauldron. I had wanted one for a really long time, so I'm so happy I got one a little while ago. And I'm loving it. And it's, you know, it's the perfect size for my altar space, and it's cute and it's witchy and it's awesome and I love it. So if you don't have a cauldron, I think you should totally get one. You can put crystal grids on your altar. Again, my healing altar is really a healing crystal grid. And I put other nature elements on that. You could put pictures of an energy that you want to invoke on your altar. So let's say for me, Raven is special to me. So I've got Raven up there. I've got Wolf back there. I've got, I think that's Socrates back there as well. Any energy that you want to invoke, let's say it's a beautiful island. Let's say a picture of Jamaica or Antigua or anything like that. You can put a picture of that. Norway. I love Norway. It's my dream to go there. But a picture of a place that you'd like to go. If it's a manifesting altar, or a picture of a place that brings you relaxation, if you want to take in that feeling when you're coming to your altar space, to bring in that energy, a peaceful place. You can put family photos on your ancestral altar. If you're doing an altar to your inner child, or if you're doing inner child work, you can have a picture of you as a child on your altar, which I think is really, really cool. I've done that, and that's something I really, really loved. You can put figurines or statues of deity that you work with. I have a statue of Isis back there. You can put figurines of animals you work with, your spirit animals, your totems, your protector spirits, archangels, angels, ascended masters. That's why Socrates is up there for me. Any kind of picture or figurine that you feel is appropriate for your altar. Candles, of course. So like for me, for my healing altar, I've got my lovely Mother Mary candle, the Virgin de Guadalupe. Okay, here. So you can definitely use those. You can also use little tea light candles as well. Okay, prayer cards are another fun thing that you can have on your altar space. If there's a prayer that you love, and particularly, you can print it out. You could get a prayer card. If there's a poem you like, you can tape it up or keep it on your altar to recite it or read it while you're at your altar space. Incense, of course. Love incense. Gotta have incense on the altar. A good Nag Champa, white sage incense, cinnamon, lavender. For me, for my healing altar, I've got you know, one of these little sample healing incenses. Okay, that I love. You can have some cinnamon incense, whatever incense you feel called to or that resonates with whatever working or the purpose of your altar is. Oils, of course, essential oils, any oils for the working that you're dealing with or correlating to the deity that you're working with, the angel, ascended master, whatever. Okay, you can also have, I already said crystals. Oh, cleansing and healing tools, your divination tools, anything that you would want to charge with the energy of your altar space. Okay, so for me, if I want to charge something with Reiki, I will charge it with Reiki, of course, and then I may let it sit on my healing grid for a little while to soak up that good energy. Okay, so cleansing tools, divination tools, I've got, you know, you can have your smudge stick or your Palo Santo on your altar space if your altar is focusing on healing or cleansing, or even just to charge those tools. All right. Another thing I like to keep on my altar spaces as well is selenite, because it clears the energy of the space and it keeps the vibration high, which is what we want for our altar space, right? We want to feel good. We don't want the energy to feel stuck or stagnated. So that's another tip of mine that I really love. And also you can put tarot or oracle cards on your altar space, again, about invoking that energy, evoking that energy. So for my healing grid, I have temperance up there. Okay, if you are doing an altar for your psychic ability or working with your intuition, connecting with yourself, you may want to put the high priestess card up there. If it's your manifesting altar, maybe you want to put the magician up there. Again, any tarot or oracle cards, if it's about business and work, you may want to put the 8 of Pentacles or the King of Pentacles or the 10 of Pentacles if it's about money. Okay, so do your research, have fun, play with it, get creative. Altar space creation is one of my favorite things. It's just so fun. And for me, in terms of the creation of my space, I don't follow a particular tradition or religion at this point in time. So I set up my altars intuitively. I listen to, if it's a deity I'm working with, of course I do my reading, I do my research, and I tune into them and I tune into my intuition and kind of figure out, ooh, this feels good there. No, this doesn't. Yes, we should put this. No, we shouldn't. That kind of thing. So again, have fun with it. Get creative. Tap into that sacral chakra energy. Tap into the cosmos, the universe, your guides, your angels, your archangels, ascended masters, loved ones in spirit, deity you work with, and get to it. Have fun. Have a blast. Make a weekend of it. Make a day of it. Make an hour of it. But really have fun with your altar creation. It's really about you and what feels good to you and your space, because you want to be called to work with your altar. You don't want to just set it up and forget it. So in my next video, I'm going to talk about, so now I've made an altar space. What do I do with it? about working your altar space. How do you work your altar space? So stay tuned for that, also on the Maven Unmasked YouTube channel. But I'm Arielle, and this has been Maven Unmasked with your How Do You Make an Altar and What Do You Put on It video. If you'd like to book a reading with me, check out my blog, my Instagram, or my Facebook page. It's all under Maven Unmasked, and you can find me at MavenUnmasked.com. If you'd like to book a reading, it's MavenUnmasked.com, and you can click on the Book a Reading tab. Thank you so much, lovelies, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye.